Hello and welcome to Confused Reviews, where a cartoon drawing reviews movies. And usually this is the time I'd take a look at a bad Adam Sandler movie. Oh Sandman, you might be one of the only comedians I can think of that can make me grab my gut from laughing so hard 1 second to oozing secondhand embarrassment from some of the movies he's put out that I implode into another plane of existence. There's no way he isn't doing this as a gag or some scheme to make cruise ships full of cash. And for that, all I can say, keep making that money, friend.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Now on that note, I generally plan on reviewing one of these flicks per season. But then, something happened. I saw Uncut Gems and was absolutely blown away at his performance. It had been so long since Sandler made me genuinely happy to be a movie fan, and I was taken away by this hypnotic nightmare of a movie. And I say this with the deepest sincerity when I say he was snubbed for that Oscar nom.
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
Rather than following that up by washing my mouth out with fucking soap, I watched his most recent comedy special, and as I saw him sing a beautiful homage to Chris Farley, well, that guy in a little coat. Safe to say, I was moved by it. And buckle up your helmets, sand stands, because I just want you to know, everything on this channel is designed to make you mad specifically, and feel like you just Frenched a lemon. And I hope I don't need to explain this again.
It's a joke. It's all a joke.
Then, the choice became clear. Let's tackle a movie from one of his less famous grown-ups co-stars, Paul Blart Mall Cop. Surprisingly, revisiting this movie filled my soul with unearthly nostalgia, and as shameful as I am to admit, I've seen this movie a ton of times, especially when I was younger. However, coming back to that thing you once enjoyed as a gritty, cynical adult yields different outcomes.
What's that sound like to you?
Sounds like shit.
You all know the deal. Full-time mall security and lifelong lackluster loser, Paul Blart battles his way through an adventure consisting of a giant heist and enough fat jokes to make anyone want to hit the weights. So let's drive segue first into the first movie from 2009 to make $100 million at the box office, and see why this weird fucking flick birthed so many strange memes. This is Paul Blart Mall Cop. It begins with Blart, played by Kevin James, absolutely demolishing the police training course. Good for him, improving his life and showing that no amount of titty stains can stop this determined madman. Guess he was the class's stooge. Now, I'm no expert, clearly, but is this really enough for him to flat out flunk? He made it the whole way with notable, impressive agility, so what if he boofed the last 3 feet? Last I observed, from a holding cell for running over another biker in the street.
Hey, asshole!
Oh shit!
Cops aren't all triathletes.
Well, sir, some of the other officers are a little soggy around the midsection. I guess that's why they weren't able to keep up.
However, on that note, we have to continually establish that Paulie has been down on his luck since conception.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm gonna want some pie. No, I meant now.
He even displays addict behavior, trying desperately to convince his daughter and mother, played by Raini Rodriguez and Shirley Knight respectively,
We just don't want to see you go through another holiday alone.
But I'm not alone.
that he is A-okay.
Tell us about yourself.
Oh, let's see. I know a lot about sharks.
Go on. Sharks are cool. Bouncing to the morning, he quickly kills a puppy. Not kidding. Jesus, way to make your protagonist likable. Once at this now ancient relic called a shopping mall, which were these giant chunks of land where you'd have to go brush arms with fellow mindless, sweaty consumers to buy overpriced garbage before Papa Bezos made the ability to buy anything that's ever been made from the comfort of your toilet seat. Hey Alexa, buy me a better movie.
Shut your fucking mouth, you badly drawn cartoon fuck.
As he's cruising down the street in his 6'4", we see Amy, played by Jayma Mays, whose entire character is the equivalent of a shiny object being waved in front of a cat, because she's mainly there for Blart to oogle at. I hate that Kevin James has clear physical comedy chops and chooses to waste them on this horseshit script.
Rent-a-cops. I hate rent-a-cops too.
We also see the new trainee, Vec Sims, played by Guy. Who cares?
That better make the video.
Aside from his name being stellar for a Bond villain, he acts so shady and creepy that he might as well have bad guy written on his forehead a la Jared Leto Joker.
I'm an idea.
Even that would have been more nuanced. He spastically tries training the youngster, and I can't help but laugh at some of the stupid shit he says.
The mind is the only weapon that doesn't need a holster.
Isn't that what your skull is for? Anywho, he creepily lurks around Amy for a while before actually kinda hitting it off. Glad he immediately tries overextending himself and fumbling the ball.
It's out there.
I totally understand why people thought to re-edit this flick to be some weird psychological stalker thriller. Certain elements of Blart's personality give me Norman Bates similarities. Oh, and must we forget the funniest aspect of this entire Blart ethos. Stewart, played by Steve Ranzini. No, not the character or anything he says or does, because he's just a cunt, but the actor having a spicy little secret. Steven here once got caught lying about being in the Twin Towers on 9/11, when he wasn't even there. Fucking yikes.
Now I have to be the guy who's very strange and weird and just said I lied about 9/11.
We were just listening to the audio of a guy who was a comedian who...
Pretty successful comic.
I didn't know who he was, but he lied about being in one of the towers on 9/11, and he just
I just saw that online. Yeah, New York Times.
Really
and
bizarre.
why would you do that?
That makes my respect for this hectic hairdo dickhead drop to the floor faster than Building 7.
You can't say that.
Yeah, I can.
Well, maybe now, I don't know, maybe people will not be as mean to me or not make as many jokes about me.
Later that night, the crew meets for some brewskis. Vec defends Paul from this walking wrinkled penis, and we meet Leon and Vijay, played by Jamal Mixon and Eric Avery. They scarf down some nachos, but before Blart can channel his inner Matt Stoney, he supplements the spice with some lemonade. Or so he thinks.
That lemonade is insane.
Yeah, Paul. That's because it's a margarita.
No, I don't drink.
Honestly, this is probably the most realistic scene of the movie, and the closest thing I'd consider to well-done humor playing up Kevin James's strengths as a comedian and actor. Plus, I think we can all agree we've gotten a tad out of hand once life's liquid pleasures get involved. Oh shit.
I believe in magic! Yeah, I called you fat. Look at me, I'm skinny. It never stopped me from getting busy, I'm a freak.
So with Black Friday upon the mall, Blart weapons up with a cell phone, bottle of hot sauce, and a pixie stick pick-me-up, because he's hypoglycemic also. Honestly, to fight off the animals that would partake in this gluttony of excess and savings, you'd need a riot shield and a paintball gun. And even then you might not be safe.
If anyone thinks they're gonna beat me inside that mall and keep me from getting my kids' Christmas presents, they can kiss my fat vagina, 'cause I'm bringing the motherfucking pain!
While Paul rocks out a sick Kiss guitar solo, the mall is overtaken by a group of wicked and extreme BMX skater bros. As stupid as that is, it's all an underlying ruse so the movie can replicate the greatest Christmas movie ever made, Die Hard. One man against the odds stuck in a building who has to sack up and take down the evil criminals. Oh, and Vec's earth-shattering double-cross happens, and they take all of the characters with names hostage. Shocking. Now, this should seem so obvious it'll slap you in the face in 3D, but why didn't a movie set in New Jersey that's trying so hard to be Die Hard have the antagonist be a bunch of overweight Italian gangsters? Not only would it be ripe for fat jokes that would actually be set up, maybe having both sides have to take a break to catch their breath during a fight, it would also use the location and setting to its advantage, but most of all, creating an adversary that is tough enough to be challenging, but also one that both sides could hopefully by the end find some sort of mutual respect for. You know, giving Blart a leg up for an actual arc rather than just being goofy and pathetic. Security versus Gabagool. Cast Joey Diaz as the leader instead of this fucking twerp too. It would have been a tremendous display.
Get up, cocksuckers, it's all over.
And don't fucking tell me it's because this is a PG movie, because if It's Always Sunny can make it hilarious on network TV, surely this movie could have.
Fellas, we're about 6 beers deep, so I think you're gonna have to be a little bit more clear, because I didn't get that last part. I missed out on the whole thing, to be honest with you. I was confused by it. I was very confused by the whole thing.
But I digest. Whoops, food on the gut. What? Real quick, we throw in the token sidekick stereotype to say wacky things to use in the trailer. Pahood, played by Adhir Kalyan.
Flashy has some crazy sexy feet.
He'll operate as Paul's man in the chair, and that's it. Moving on, as Paul is about to leave, our hero has a change of heart knowing his love is left inside and vows to stop these dingleberries, no matter how many times these acrobatic a-holes flip around. They also are all named after Santa's 8 reindeer, because I guess naming them after the 7 dwarves would have been too highbrow. Anyways, by a mix of luck and willpower, Paul takes out one more reindeer in the worst use of a tanning bed since Final Destination 3, and then immediately is attacked by Jason Mewes and a fucking spider monkey?
Hello there.
No matter, as the big guy risks it all with an admirable roof jump and ceiling smash.
Hey, Ron. Hey, Billy.
Nothing like an oversized play place ball pit to crank up the action.
Nobody wins with a headbutt.
Good one. And while this awful second act continues dragging on, I figured I'd take a second to recommend 2 comedians that also skewed on the heavier side that I immensely respect for different reasons. Chris Farley, obviously, was the best at performing in all the ways this movie wishes it had, all while remaining a great underdog that you feel for and actually want to see succeed. Tommy Boy will always be a golden example of this type of flick done right. His and David Spade's banter mixed with Farley's unstoppable optimism makes it one of the best comedies of all time.
I'm Paul. You must be Tommy.
Brothers don't shake hands. Brothers gotta hug.
But you already know that. The other guy I'd like to highlight has slowly crept up to one of, if not my favorite comedic voice, as well as genius thinker of my lifetime, PatriceONeal. This powerhouse with a laugh that could shatter bulletproof glass has thousands of recorded hours out there giving his thoughts and perspectives on anything and everything. From the dark side of Hollywood, relationships, to so much more. His unique viewpoint on whatever subject he'd tackle may not always be the correct answer or the best choice to make, but definitely was different than anyone else in the room. It hurts my heart that a decade after his passing, he's still not nearly as well known as he deserves. Aside from Carlin or Chappelle, he may be the best comic ever, and even ushered and mentored some of the biggest voices in the game today. These 2 brilliant minds were taken from us.
So many young men of his generation before his time.
And I could gush on and on for hours about these titans of comedy, so bottom line, as this broadcast is spoken into the ether, don't waste your time on this crap movie and give these guys your laughs.
Damn it, Michael!
So yeah, Paulie takes out a few more, has a Sean Evans saucy showdown, and once all seems lost, the MVP of the movie returns.
Peanut, Blart, and jelly. What? What's up, man? So good to hear your voice.
No, not Bahood, but this guy.
Since everybody thinks this was a bank robbery. Ow!
Who I'm not even sure has a name, but they still try to give him an Al Powell final redemption? But I guess they forgot to set it up? Like any real jokes, am I right?
Boo.
Bobby Cannavale, who's been shitting on Blart from the outside, serves as an awful last-second red herring. Who cares? Amy gives in to this lonely goober, and that's all, fucks. And that was Paul Blart, Mall Cop. And you might shatter your computer once I say this, but I think this story could have made an interesting movie. Kevin James is talented and seems like a good dude. Or not. Fuck if I know, but I've always loved his everyman role of Doug Heffernan from The King of Queens, where he also has a lady well out of his league, and if he had used that amount of chill and charm here, I think it would have been greatly improved. Here he just seems like he's either trying too hard or the script gave him nothing to work with aside from falling down. The flick bounces around from pathetic pity chuckles to really well done setups to being so bad it makes me question if I should even be wasting my time attempting to analyze this fucking oxygen waster. I'd have more fun analyzing the Zapruder film. Early seasons of Brooklyn Nine-Nine were eons better at composing Die Hard parodies too, where here it doesn't. Don't even bother with this one. I'm going to give blah 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 blah. And yet, after this whole video goofing on this fat fuckery and trying to encourage the viewing of better material, I still kinda like it. Oh well.
But you like this movie?
Sorta. I'm Confused Reviews. Thanks for watching.